Welcome to Fond of Projects. This video is made for working professionals, mainly in sales, pre-sales, project management, and customer support domain. If you are a student and preparing for an examination, then please skip this video as this video might not cover all the examination aspect. Thank you. As per Indian Contract Act 1872, under Section 2E, definition of agreement is every promise and every set of promises forming the consideration for each other. So let me give you an example here. My friend wants to sell a pen to me and the price of pen is 50 rupees. So here he is making an offer selling a pen at 50 rupees and I am accepting that offer buying that pen at 50 rupees is becoming an agreement. So, promises forming mutual consideration in written. So, here the agreement is made between me and my friend. So, what is contract? Contract is an agreement enforceable by law. Let's take the same example here. I already have an agreement with my friend. And now my intention is to create a legal obligation by adding essential conditions mentioned in section 10 in the agreement. Then that agreement becomes a contract. It also means that me or my friend may go to court if any one of us doesn't adhere the promises. Next point is an agreement may or may not be enforceable law. That is because agreement will not have any legal obligation. A contract always enforceable by law. So all agreements are not contract, but all contracts are agreements because when you have a contract, it means you already have an agreement and you added law enforceability in that and it becomes a contract. Okay, let's start with RFI, RFQ, and RFP. So let's take an example here. I am working in an organization where organization has 7,000 branches and each branch require one clock. That means I need to procure 7,000 clocks for my 7,000 branches. How I am going to do this? I will be having two options here. Either come up with the exact requirement, okay, by performing requirement assessment or requirement analysis. This can be done internally by subject matter experts who are available in our organization. In that case, they will be coming up with an exact document which will have exact requirement for 7,000 branches. And what would be the another option? The another option will be float the RFI. RFI stands for request for information. This is a document which will be available on the portal of my organization, or I will publish advertisement in the newspaper. And in that document, I will mention that I need 7,000 clocks for my 7,000 branches. So please provide me your input, what kind of clocks I should go for, what could be the size of that clock, what could be the color of that clock, so and what could be the type of that clock. So all this information will be gathered through market analysis, and I am not going to pay anything for that because the people who are going to provide me this input, those people will be a subject matter expert and also a vendor for that specific object. So this is called RFI. The next step is RFP. Okay, RFP. RFP stands for request for proposal. So it means that I know what I am going to procure. Now I want all the vendors to read that document fulfill my requirement. Okay. And for that, they are going to send me the quotation. And that quotation will be known as RFQ. So this will be RFQ. RFQ stands for request for quotation. Okay. So here in this case, I will be asking for quotations from all the vendors. Okay. Now please understand, there is a possibility that this step is not available in my process, in my organization, because I will be doing the internal assessment. Or this step will be available if my procurement is very complex. Okay. RFP and RFQ might be a same document. When I say same document means in one document I will provide my exact requirement. Okay. And I will be also asking for the quotations. So it is not mandatory that these are the two different documents. Then what is next? The next will be bid submission. So what is bid submission? Bid submission means people who are interested, the parties, vendors who are interested in providing material or component which I have requested in the RFP, those people will provide me the quotation. They will provide me a quotation, price, uh, and their uh, competencies, etc., etc., etc. The documents which I'm going to ask, that will be submitted on specific day, and that once that document is submitted, then we will be mentioning that bid has been submitted by so and so vendor. Now there is one more task here. So before bid submission and after floating the RFP, there is one meeting which is conducted by the uh, by the procurement team, by the buyer, and that meeting is called pre-bid meeting. So this is your pre-bid meeting. So pre-bid meeting means whatever I have mentioned in the RFP, if any point is not understood by the vendor, he can ask or he can request for elaboration of that point in that meeting. He can also ask to remove that point. He can also suggest to add some more points, and that will be done in the pre-bid meeting. Again, it is optional for buyer to conduct this meeting, but to keep a process transparent, most of the organizations will conduct the pre-bid meeting, especially the government organizations. They will conduct the pre-bid meeting. Now, there is one more term called tender fee. Tender fee means this document, the RFP which is prepared, okay, that RFP will be purchased by the vendor. There will be a X amount of fees, 500, 5,000, 10,000, etc., etc. So that fees usually it will be paid before attending the pre-bid meeting. Okay. So RFP will be floated, let's say in the newspaper or on the portal, government portal or organizations portal. That access to that RFP will be available to almost all the people, all the citizens. Okay, they can go through the RFP, but if they want to participate in the bidding, then they need to pay the price for that RFP. So that is the tender fee. Okay, so tender fee will be applicable uh, in most of the RFPs, in most of the tenders, and this will be collected by the buyer before pre-bid meeting. Okay, and the receipt will be given it to the vendor. In the RFP, there is one more criteria called PQ criteria, which is nothing but the pre-qualification criteria. What is PQ criteria? PQ criteria, as it is mentioned, pre-qualification, it's it will make sure that correct set of suppliers or vendors are going to participate in this request, in this bid, to make sure that we get the correct vendor, correct supplier. There will be a certain conditions which will be mentioned in that RFP. Example, like company should have certain turnover. Second point will be company should have 10, 15, 20 engineers who are having knowledge of manufacturing or repairing clock, just for example. So that criteria will be anything. It might be a technical criteria, it might be a commercial criteria, or any other aspect. So that aspect will be mentioned in the PQ criteria, which is very much important. If anyone doesn't fit into that criteria, that person should not, that organization should not apply for the submission, because if they submit the bid, it will be rejected then and there itself. But as I mentioned in pre-bid meeting, let's say there are 10 criteria and one specific criteria they do not have. In that case, they can go to pre-bid meeting and request for removal of that criteria, and it is completely uh, based on organization's decision. If that criteria is crucial, very significant, then they will not remove it. But if they think it can be removed, then they can remove it. Okay. If they remove any criteria, then the uh, RFP will be floated again with the amendment. Okay. And after that, the bid will be submitted. One more thing is, while submitting the bid, in most of the RFPs, EMD will be collected. Earnest money deposit will be collected from the vendor. That is because, just to make sure that after receiving the contract, vendor should not consider that he won the contract and now he will deliver the deliverables which are mentioned in the RFP based on his availability. Okay. To avoid that, certain amount, let's say 5 or 10% of the contract amount, will be taken care before at the time of submitting the bid. This will be in the DD format. After bid submission, then there will be a bid opening date, and on that bid opening date, they will declare the winner, and based on that, they will award the contract. Now, here there is very important thing which may happen. Let's take an example of 7,000 clocks, and let's consider that 20 vendors has participated in that bid submission. Out of that, they have selected top 5. So top 5 means L1, lowest one, lowest 2, L3, L4, and L5. So contract will be awarded to L1 usually. Okay, it will be awarded to L1. So there is a possibility that this 7,000 clocks might not awarded to L1. They may decide that out of 7,000 we will award only 3,000 to L1, and L2, L3, L4, and L5 will deliver thousand watches. This is just to make sure that there is a healthy competition in the bidding process, and also when uh, when onboarding the vendors. Because by doing this, what will happen? The dependency will be distributed. Okay. If one vendor is not providing a proper support, then other vendors will have an option to take his share in future. Okay. So this formula is also applicable in many bids, many RFPs, or many tenders. Okay, or there is a possibility that all the 7,000 clock order will go to L1. It is completely decided by the organization who is floating the RFP. Okay. After that, once the contract is awarded, then SOW, site statement of work, or we also call statement of work, will be created and submitted. And once that is submitted, after that, it has to be signed by both the parties. And once it is signed by both the parties, there will be a delivery of the uh, hardware here, that is clocks. Okay. There is one more term here, and that is called consultant. So what is the role of consultant here? Role of consultant is, let's say that in my organization we do not have any skills for writing a RFP. Okay. And my procurement is very big, in which I have solutions, services, everything. In that case, we will go for that organization will go for consultant. What the consultant will do, he will be a neutral partner here. He will write the RFP. He will write the RFP for the or for that organization. So consultant like PwC, Deloitte, TCS, these are the people who write RFP also, and they can also write a contract based on the customer's requirement. So this is the complete ecosystem of from tender to RFI to SSOW signing. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. If you like the content, then please like and share this video. If you like to watch similar kind of videos, then please subscribe this video. Thank you. Bye for now.